Welcome to the Finding Purpose LiveCast, where we feature authors, leaders, and speakers of purpose on a live platform to have truly authentic conversations. And now your host, Davin Salvagno.
Hey, Kim, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, Davin. How are you?
I am well. It's so good to see you. I can't wait till we can see each other in person again.
Exactly.
This is a massive shift for all of us.
Definitely. We're coping. We're adapting. We're
We
being
are.
active. All
That's
good.
exactly right. Yeah, and I know that today we were going to share this, but we're in this constant state of having to change and adapt and react. And you have some powerful insights in your space that I know that you're going to share for those that are listening today and that are listening in the future. And I also know that you're very busy. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule to share the wealth of wisdom that you have for those listening today.
Oh, I appreciate you, Davin. I look forward to it.
Awesome. So today we're here with Kim Peterson Stone. Kim is a great friend of mine. She is the founder of Linkability, Inc., and they do some incredible work in the social media space. And you will get to hear her journey today and some of her insights in terms of what's happening across the globe. But one of the things that she has really helped me with, and thousands of other people, probably hundreds of thousands of other people, is understanding the global communication shifts that are happening, even more so as we're walking through this pandemic. So, but Kim, before we get into all the nuggets and wisdom that I know that you want to unleash, I want people to get to know who you are. So take a moment and share your journey. Introduce who Kim is and how you got to be the founder of Linkability.
Oh my goodness. Well, it wasn't a straight arrow, Davin. It wasn't like, you check the boxes and you do this, and this, and you wind up over here. I actually currently live outside of Boise, Idaho, by way of Colorado. Spent quite a bit of time in Colorado. Really like space and mountains and outdoor things. Actually, my husband and I are going rafting this weekend. So being outside and all of that is really a big part of who we are. But really early on, I have always had kind of an entrepreneurial mindset. Not so much in terms of, I'm going to sell this widget and make this money. Never that way. And that's been to my detriment, actually, because it's been more so, gosh, I think this could be done better. Here's a thing that we use in society, but I think that it can be done better. So in my younger years, I spent some time working at a publishing company, selling ad space, traveling all over in actually in the health, wellness, sports, fitness industry. Learned quite a bit about marketing, quite a bit about presentation, branding, all of that. Segued then into a position with Avon. I was a district manager in Colorado and ran a district of about 300 women. So I was very much then leaning into sales and presentation and developing a team and all of that. And from there, branched out into kind of the digital space was getting up and running. And my passion for health and wellness and having received all of this knowledge, or actually kind of boots on the ground knowledge of marketing and sales, had an opportunity to get involved with a medical device firm. And it was a very unique technology at the time, using light to relieve pain. Long story short, we started that with nothing, rubbing pennies together, and turned it into a $20 million business. And from there, learned quite a bit about storytelling and how, when you have a product that really helps people, it really doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be something in health and wellness, but it really, if the whole point of what you do is to help someone else, you really aren't selling at that point. You're really kind of conveying what it is that you do to benefit this other person. So that then segued into a digital marketing company within the health and wellness space. So we were doing, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And about 3 years ago, I really made the shift to LinkedIn exclusively for a number of reasons. The growth of the platform, obviously, but I was seeing a really large chasm between professionals who were really stellar at what they did. They really were very good. And they were helping a lot of people, and they were doing amazing things in their industry niche, but they had not made the change to representing themselves online. there were many people that were just getting caught in this chasm of not quite understanding what's going on. What is social media? What do I need to be doing? Where should I be going? Everybody's saying I need to be doing this and this and this. I don't quite understand. And these are for industries that are very, financial services, fiduciaries, certain forms of SaaS, where you really need to be mindful of how you do what you do. And so we, over the past few years, have really built that audience in terms of being our sweet spot, the people that we know that we can help the most. And that is where we are now. And now we're seeing so many people now really with COVID and all of that saying, my gosh, it's not a boy, someday maybe I'm going to do this. It's like, I'm behind and I have to step it up. So that's kind of what our world is looking like right now.
I love how you shared that there are so many people professionally that are good at what they do, but they've had a hard time making this shift. And one of the things that you said earlier is when you really are in the business of helping people and you're truly articulating what it is that you do well that other people now, which is the starting point of purpose that I consistently talk about, that if you can communicate that effectively, you're really no longer selling, right? Here's what we do well. Here's how I can help you. And your focus is really on the help and on the impact and not on the transactional piece of that. You have done such a great job of building a brand in the social space, particularly in the LinkedIn space, that has truly helped hundreds of thousands of people to do that. And one of the things that I know that you'll share here a little bit is that space is moving faster than probably any other space that exists, right? What worked on LinkedIn last week doesn't even work today, right? Exactly. I'm sure by the end of this call, we'll both receive an update that there was now a change that doesn't work right. So let's get into that. Talk about kind of what you're doing in that space, what's relevant now, because what you do that helps people best is helping people understand this massive shift that we're all experiencing.
Definitely. Well, first of all, I think that you can throw the checklist out the window. So like, okay, to be successful, do this, 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 and this. All right. But that really kind of depends on what's going on. Are you someone who is in an industry that is making such a big shift that you've got to take a look at where you're going? Maybe you need to hop off of this train and get onto this train. If that's the case, you need to be doing research. You need to be building your network with different types of people. You need to be taking a different strategy than if you are a brand that is like, oh my gosh, like telehealth, for example, that's an industry that we work with. Internet security, another industry. So staffing. Remote staffing particularly. So these guys are going gangbusters, and they are all about grabbing market share. So you really need to, put the pedal to the metal, make sure you're doing all the right things, being consistent, all of that. That would be for those guys. And then there are quite a few people that are in a situation where they literally, this is serious. I need to put food on the table for my children, and I now am displaced and I don't have a job. And those, while we aren't really in that space, I want to do as much as possible to help people in that space, to help them really understand how to use LinkedIn as a tool, and not just to flip, I'm applying to this job and this job and this job. No, it's all about going in and communicating with those people. So to your point, Davin, whether you are selling a product or a service, or yourself as being someone that would be a valued member of an organization, you need to be doing it in such a way that you aren't selling, that you are offering, this is the value that I provide on all three fronts that I just described. So really the first thing you need to do is take a look at what is it that I'm really wanting to accomplish. And then you can work backwards from there in terms of, okay, do I need to be doing research with hashtags in the search bar? Do I need to be connecting myself with certain individuals, with corporations? Do I need to be joining groups and starting conversations there? Do I need to be writing articles about my position on things to better highlight myself as someone who's sophisticated in this particular market niche? I mean, there are just many, many, many different ways that you can go, and to map out a strategy and then consistently execute and then assess your results, critical. And it shows up dramatically on the other side, because the person that's looking at you and your profile, and when they're Googling you, LinkedIn is going to pop up 1, 2, or 3. And so everything that you've done there is going to be on Google. So really important to make sure that you do understand how the machine can work for you, determine what it is that you want to accomplish, put together a plan, execute, and then assess your results on the other side.
Wow, that was a really good roadmap that if you're listening to this right now, I encourage you to go back and rewind and take notes from that section right there, because, there is work required, right? Because we live in such a fast-paced world, we are constantly looking for shortcuts. And I know this drives you crazy. I know it drives me crazy, Kim, that there are so many people who, again, well-intentioned, really good at what they do, but they are using LinkedIn so horribly incorrectly that they're actually a detriment to their own success. They are actually damaging their own brand, because rather than taking the time to actually map out a strategy, to be real, to be genuine, to be authentic, to slow down a little bit, to speed up, they are using all sorts of scripted emails and AI and positioning their products and services and all of that. And it's a complete turnoff. And we all see past that. But establishing your brand, establishing how you can truly add value, how you can truly positively impact others, and then communicating that effectively through LinkedIn, through a proven strategy, is the long-term game. And that's where a lot of people are missing the mark today.
Absolutely, because it can be human nature to say, I want the fastest path. I want a data scrape. I want to use an automated system. I want to, which is against policy with LinkedIn. And the thing that I've always thought about it's not like a random ad campaign that you can hide behind and say, oh, somebody did that and it was a faux pas and we're so sorry. This is your name we're talking about. So if your name gets scrubbed and then you're trying to get a new client, investor, job, whatever, and they Google you and you're not there, that's problematic, right? Wouldn't you rather be in control of that than have LinkedIn or Google be in control of that for you? So it's just a different playing field now. And it really has gotten to the point, it used to be like, oh, well, I don't really want to deal with that right now. Okay. And there was a certain point that was okay. But now not dealing with it is meaning you're letting somebody else deal with it. So if you're making those choices like, oh, it's easy and I don't want to deal with that, that's your name. You're the annoying guy that sells things in an annoying way, can't be taken seriously, is getting, and people can rate you on what you're posting in your feeds, on what you're doing. People can thumbs down you and be like, yeah, this person is annoying. And that affects you. And then you're popped off. So for me, it's always been, if it's your name, that's really what's important, because that's what's going to follow you from project to project, job to job, company to company, whatever it is that you do. That's your digital footprint. So why not be the one that's in control of that than allowing shiny bells and whistles to kind of deteriorate what you built up over the years?
That's right. And one of the things that you also shared before is that you need to be really clear on what your value is, right? This is your name that you're talking about, and what's associated with that. What is the value that you add to others? When people Google you, when people look at your LinkedIn profile, does it look like a menu of products and services, or do I see Kim Peterson Stone? Do I get to see the genuine, authentic rawness of who you are as a person? Because it really is your online resume today. It has been for quite some time. But it's not just your work resume. This is your life resume, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it, this isn't just about where I've worked. This is about what I've done. This is about where I volunteered. This is about how I think. This is about how I feel. Here's the articles, which again, if you're writing an article that is just a sales pitch, I don't really want to follow you. But if you're writing an article about something that you're deep in thought about, that's an aha moment that gives me wisdom and insight and inspiration, that pulls back the curtain to see something that maybe I didn't see in the other way, even if it's laced with humor of how your kids were on your head during a Zoom video or whatever. That's
Right.
real, that's genuine, that's authentic. So you got to be clear about your value. You got to be less about your products and services and
Right.
more about how when people experience you, why should they want to continue to experience you? And
Right.
that's something that I've watched you and Linkability over the last couple of years even get really clear on, right?
Yeah.
It was less about here's the products and services that we offer through Linkability and more about here is how we help you experience LinkedIn differently and how we add value to how others experience you.
Right. Right. Because to your point, I know we were talking about this earlier, tips and tricks and things of that nature and the different levels of what you need, right? Or what you think you need. Let's face it. If you want to know about how to do a Facebook campaign or a LinkedIn campaign or how to do whatever, you need to Google it and you need to put the year that you're in. So don't Google something, how to do a LinkedIn profile and something from 2015 comes up because it's irrelevant. 2019, irrelevant. It has to be right here, right now. So that's the other thing is it is living and breathing and moving and shaping. And so we run into this all the time where someone has put up and we actually look for people like this who their online presence looks terrible and they're like, oh, what do you think I should fix? Should I put down that I went here to school and I did this thing? And it's like, no. It, to your point, Davin, it is about what you are all about. What industry things are you involved with? What types of organizations, your volunteer work, the types of things that you're reading, the people that you follow, the commentary that you have. It really gives a much more broad overview of the type of individual that you are, which puts you in a better position when you're looking to either be picked up by a company or, some things that we do for clients. A big part of what we do is thought leadership positioning. So you want to be known for a specific hashtag because you're writing a book about it, you speak about it, you talk about it, your business is about it. We can help you do that. That is a big piece of what we do. So that way it even levels it up even more. So if someone's coming in to talk about whatever industry, well, you're the guy that pops up again and again and again and again. So when you really drill down and when you really get serious, you can accomplish some amazing things. And if you're going to be on the surface and you're just kind of dabbling your toes and you want to just kind of search, how do I do this or how do I do that and at least get started, but make sure that you're doing it in a relevant time period because it does change so fast. Something else too, and I talk about this all the time, is to have your about us, your headline and your graphic, whatever the main portion of your profile in a Google Doc or somewhere all the time, because you're going to want to go back every couple of months and take a look. Is this still relevant? Am I still saying what I need to be saying, particularly now? I mean, we are going through some massive shifts and change in how things are presented and all of that. Are you tone deaf? Are you not really dialed in? Is this something, I mean, because if you did your profile maybe back in November of 2019, you probably better take a look at that. Is that still who you are and what you're all about and what's going on? If you have that saved, you can take a look at really your progress. And that's been a big, you mentioned you've seen Linkability over the years. Well, that's because we measure that. We look at that. What is it? Which then leads to the next point, which is corporate pages. So it's about and this is something that we've been tapped into a lot is training teams. Because think about this. You got your name and your organization, and then you have different individuals within that organization, and you're all kind of speaking the same language and discussing things and posting things and communicating. That then gives it the ability to really organically spread in a very sincere way that will then appeal to the people that you're either wanting to attract as team members or become partners or become clients. So not only what you do as an individual and tracking what you do as an individual is important, but making sure that your team is helping to leverage that as well. Super powerful.
Super powerful. And that is when you think about I'm going to flash back and go back to last year when we were at the Purpose Summit together, and you think about the concept of connecting individual purpose with organizational purpose. And you think about the ability, the linkability, if you will, through LinkedIn to be able to do that very clearly. If you do exactly what you just said, if a company's messaging about their purpose, their reason for existence, what they're all about, if that is clear, if it's on point, and if it's relevant, right, timely, it's not from 2019.
Right.
And whenever year you might be listening to this, you might be listening to this in 2025. So if it's still from 2024, it's not relevant, right? But as long as it's on point, it's clear, and it's still relevant, your message as an organization for the people that you're trying to attract to work for your organization, or the clients that you want to work with as a part of your organization, if it's engaging what they're all about, their individual purpose, well, now you're speaking the same language on the same platform. So it's so critical for that message on both the individual side and the organizational side to be clear and to be relevant, to be so timely.
Right. And we've run across things that seem little, like the corporate page isn't set up properly. It's set up as a profile, so people can't connect to it, or they just don't know how often do I post, what kind of things do I post, how do we handle social media policies. That's huge right now. I had a client that was she worked with some very big families, they own very large companies, and she was kind of the PR person that kind of helped to smooth things out when things went wrong. And the latest set of issues that they were dealing with is people putting out false narratives on social media, like false narratives that caused a stock to drop $14 million types of things, big deals. And she told me, she said, Kim, the law has just not caught up to social media yet. It's cowboys and Indians. Anybody can say anything. And it just hasn't happened yet. And it will, because it is out of control. And certainly you want to control what you can control. You have to, because if you don't, someone else is.
Right.
But to your point, when you've got everyone on purpose and everyone is focused, you have the ability to really amplify the message. And the LinkedIn thing, I think that our relationship and just the different people that we've touched and that we know in the same circles and everything is such a great testament to that, because we met on LinkedIn as a result of an in-person event that I did in Troy, Michigan. You weren't there, but you heard about it. And so you're like, oh, I think I'm going to connect with Kim. Did. And it was like a period of a couple of years before then the Purpose Summit came to be. And then I saw that and I said, hey, we need to do this. So we had been on one another's radar, just kind of knowing what one another was doing, not seeing each other every day, not checking in by phone. But LinkedIn has the magic to be able to do that. So when people are ready to make that commitment or find out a little bit more, it's very easy to do because you're connected. They've got all the information. I mean, it's just really incredibly powerful when used correctly, and detrimental when not. So our mission is to make sure as many people as possible know how to correctly use it so that everybody has the ability to communicate on this amazing platform. It's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, it really is probably the most incredible tool that we have today in terms of your ability to engage very quickly who it is you want to engage and to make the impact that you want to make according to your purpose, right? And you talked about what good looks like and what good doesn't look like. And I know I've shared this quote with you and with others before about choosing to be the spotlight versus trying to be in the spotlight. And there's a lot of LinkedIn profiles and a lot of people creating content out there that they're just constantly focusing on themselves, right? They're constantly focusing on trying to be in the spotlight. How do I break through the noise and make sure that, my profile stands out from everybody else that does what I do? How do I make sure that my content advertises, why you should engage with me or hire me or whatever the case is? That's trying to be in the spotlight. I know that what good looks like is being the spotlight. And you are a such great example of us. When you look at your posts and your content, this is a reason why you built up, I know you don't like to talk about this, but it's a reason why you built up 250,000 followers so quick on LinkedIn, is because rather than talking about you and what you do, you spend a lot of time talking about others and what they're doing. So you chose to use your platform as a subject matter expert within your industry to talk about others that are making waves in that industry. And if you think about, you talked about company profiles and individual profiles, that rule applies. The best thing that companies can do on social media is not talk about their brand or their products or their services. The best thing that a company can do on social media is celebrate their people. The best content they could put out there is recognizing the contributions of, hey, we want to congratulate so-and-so because they did this, and sharing pictures of that and all that. It's being the spotlight for their people. It's also being the spotlight for their clients, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, congratulating, hey, it was great to work with so-and-so. We helped them do this, or what, congratulations on this milestone. And for the people side of that, it's the same thing. The best thing that individuals can be doing is to either be the spotlight for the organizations that they're a part of, their employers, or their clients. If you're a solopreneur and entrepreneur, the best thing that you could be doing is, hey, stop talking about what you just did and start talking about what your client just did. And if you want to share that you help them do that, then in a genuine, authentic way, that's fine. But I know we can go on a rant here, but what good looks like, as the Arbiter Institute would put it, is this outward focused mindset. Using your platform to be the spotlight for others in your messaging, rather than trying to be in the spotlight for yourself.
And that, and I know we could go on forever because we have a lot of similar views on things, but I've got to say that, so we've made a big shift. People are working from home now. And that's caused companies to say, not all, right? But a lot of them are saying, gosh, why am I paying for this huge office building? Actually, our productivity has gone up. Actually, we're doing better. People are happier in certain aspects of things. There's certainly things that need to be tweaked and worked on and all of that. It's not going to go back to the way that it was. And there will be more choice from a worker standpoint in terms of who you want to bring on board. You've got to bring on board excellent team members. You've got to bring on board from an attitudinal standpoint, from, all of that, right? So this is kind of washing out all of the insincerity and kind of really the emperor has no clothes type of things. And people are able to see what organizations are really about, whether or not they would want to align themselves with them. And organizations are really able to see what are these individuals about and whether or not we want to align. So choice is going to be more, opportunity is going to be more spread out. And like it or not, you are going to be checked out online. And if you don't have a presence, or if you have a scattered presence, or if you're just not doing the things that you need to do to attract the partners that you like, then you're going to be behind someone else who is. And that's just, like it or not, believe me, I have a love-hate relationship with a lot of aspects of social media. With good comes bad. We know this with just about everything. But my philosophy has been that we really enjoy working with people that we know that we can be successful. I'm not going to take on a client if they're not going to be successful. It isn't worth my time. It isn't worth their time. It just isn't worth it. I think a lot more organizations are feeling that way, and a lot more employees are feeling that way. I am not going to go to work for this company if I know that I'm going to be beaten over the head all the time and not appreciated, and I have no flexibility, and I've got to beg to have a day off to take my child to the doctor. You know what I mean? It goes both ways. So we have an opportunity here to really build better structures and build better organizations and really, really kind of get rid of some of the stuff that didn't work because it's been forced upon us. So how we take that opportunity and how we move forward is up to each individual organization, but we do have the tools to really make a bigger impact and drive purpose, organizational purpose and individual purpose, and just kind of make things better for everybody. I really do believe that.
that has been the biggest silver lining in this entire timeout that we've all been faced with, right?
Yeah.
I said this months ago that there were those that were panicking during this pandemic. There were those that were pandering, kind of giving into it and just waiting for it to pass over, waiting for things to go back to normal, which we both know is not going to happen. And there were those that were positioning and saying, listen, we have an opportunity here. We really have an opportunity to use this moment to be our truest selves, to show empathy, to show relatability, to value our people, to provide autonomy, to do all of the things, because it was a moment that was forced upon us, but it really has pulled back the curtain and showed us
Yeah.
what both companies are about and what people are about. And how you utilize this time right now is going to be so critical, specifically with the platforms like LinkedIn that we've been given. As we wrap up, Kim, because we have just a few minutes left, I know that there are people listening to this. Some of them have found their purpose. Some of them are on a journey of finding purpose. Some organizations clearly know what they're about. Some of them are pivoting and trying to figure out how to reinvent themselves during this time. What are some final thoughts that you might have for those listening today that will help them to position their purpose and to utilize platforms like LinkedIn effectively to do so?
You know, I think it's really important just to get started. Start where you are. You don't have to do amazing, miraculous things overnight. Um, People and the algorithms love consistency. Just try to get out there consistently in whatever aspect. If you are trying to pivot, if you are doing research, do a little bit of that every day. If you are trying to carve out a thought leadership positioning for yourself, do a little bit of that every day. Research how to do it, do a little bit, move forward. Give yourself grace as well, because this is a time where a lot of is being asked of us. And I have conversations like this all the time, because my position is always, trying to be as upbeat and positive, and you've got to see the silver lining and all of that. And that served me well my whole life. But I also recognize that people are in different situations, and have grace with yourself. If you're just moving forward a little bit today, great. Take that little bit and love that and be okay with that. But just get started, just be consistent. Do a little bit every day, because that little bit cumulatively will really add up, and it will really be, you'll look back 6 months from now and be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I started. Oftentimes I post about, do something today that your future self will thank you for. That would be my biggest thing, because now is not a time to freeze and wait, because people are moving forward. Things are moving forward, and they're progressing in different ways for different industries. So don't stand idly by, because I think a lot, when you say that Purpose Summit was last year, that just blows my mind, because it feels like it was like 5 years ago, doesn't it?
It does.
It feels
It really does.
no. We've gone through such a huge shift and change. So if you're frozen and you're not doing something, you're going to regret it 6 months from now or a year from now. So just get started, be gentle with yourself, take consistent action, and move towards whatever that next thing is for you or your organization.
That is great insight. Kim, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your insights, your wisdom. I always enjoy sitting down with you and talking about the current matters of the day and where things are going, and looking back at where we've been and how far we've come in such a short period of time. You have been an incredible inspiration to me, a great friend, and I'm grateful for you taking time out today.
I appreciate you so much, Davin. It's been a joy, as always. Thank you so much.
It has truly been my pleasure. Today, we were with Kim Peterson Stone, founder of Linkability. Of course, you can find her on LinkedIn amongst various other places. And she truly has been an incredible expert in what has been this massive, fast-paced global communication shift that we've seen over these previous years. I encourage you to follow her, to look her up, and to engage Linkability, and to engage Kim just in general, because her content is always so insightful and inspirational. We hope you enjoy listening today, and look forward to you on the next episode of the Finding Purpose LiveCast. Till next time, live purposefully.